Tonight, we're going to change things up and talk about some of the AEW champions that are currently holding belts, as well as get into how we think those belts will be booked to the end of the year through the major pay-per-views like Wrestle Dream and Full Gear. But before we get started,
welcome to the And Still a Wrestling Podcast, your weekly podcast covering the latest in the world of professional wrestling.
welcome back into an exciting and kind of random version of And Still a Wrestling Podcast. I'm Morgan. We've got Oracle, Kevin the Oracle with us, and Drew, as always. We're going to talk about AEW mostly, but anything wrestling that comes up as we go. Fellas, I hope you've had a good week, and let's just get right into this and start it off. We know we just have a few pay-per-views left. I'm looking at the calendar right now, and again, I'm Morgan the Casual. I guess that could be my ring name, the Casual.
Go with it.
You like that one?
Yeah, why not? That works, actually.
We got Kevin the Oracle, Morgan the Casual. I guess, if Vince McMahon was in charge, would we both be the Casual and the Oracle, or would it maybe Kevin just turns into Oracle?
Waiting for Kevin to call me Drew the WWE apologist.
Yeah, you know what?
Sympathizer, the WWE sympathizer. Are you crying tonight? Tonight is the last actual
No,
event?
no,
You're not crying.
It's like
I think I see a tear.
oh God, it's like, yeah, this is the last one, the McMahon era. It's like, but
You mean
like,
play
I don't know
caps?
if that's going to be good or bad at this point. I think it's way too early to tell.
Yeah, even though it's changing in name, it's still the same assholes in charge and with the same dog shit. So
And
next
you're
week
not
we're getting
Wow.
a return of Duke the Dumpster Drosy, from what I heard. So
Oh God, no, it's like one of those things. Like, aren't you? It's like, are you going to miss Vince McMahon being in control? It's like, no, I remember WWE in a couple of years, like as recent as back as 2002. It's like that man doesn't need 100% control of the product right now. He's a smidge out of touch.
all right, Drew, grab your blankie and get back in the corner.
Are we
Whatever.
really calling Drew the WWE simp over here? Is that
No.
is that the nickname you're going with, the WWE simp?
Yeah.
We got Casual Morgan. I like that. Casual Morgan Thomas. I like that. And then we got Oracle, and then we got Drew the WWE simp. We could go with that. So
From the look on Drew's face, he doesn't particularly care for that.
I'm sitting there looking at my name on the thing. It's like, should I just change it down to Sports Entertainment Extreme?
yeah, hey Drew, yeah, you could be Sports Entertainment Drew. You could be Drew the Entertainer. We're starting. We're gonna work into these ring names before you know it.
At least Kevin got that.
All right. So
I am the Oracle. I am the Oracle.
So the next big pay-per-view, I'm looking at the calendar, fellas. AEW Grand Slam was it's coming up September 20th. And then you've got Wrestle Dream, as Kevin mentioned, October 1st. Now, I don't remember Wrestle Dream. It says Seattle, Washington.
Because
Did they not do Wrestle Dream last year?
No. This was made up out of left field for. Wasn't this for
Antonio Inoki? Yep.
Yeah, thank you.
So basically, Tony Khan announced, I think it was somewhere in the early, midsummer, once Inoki passed away, he said he wanted to do a tribute show and that more details would be coming. And what he did was basically booked an arena, called it AEW Wrestle Dream, and we're going to get a combination of AEW and New Japan stars and potential fantastic matchups. So I don't know how many people the Climate Pledge Arena holds, but you can't really call it a big show when you've just done 81,000 something people. Apparently it holds less than 18,000 people.
Well, you could if you wanted to take a tribute to Antonio Inoki and do a redo of Collision in Korea.
Well, yes, you could. That could be an unbelievable show when you're forced to attend.
Hooray!
So no, Morgan, not to get too derailed. Wrestle Dream is brand new. However, just something to consider. with all of these pay-per-views, and I have heard the fact that he wants to run double what he ran this year, it's going to become very difficult for him to put cohesive stories together and pay those off every month, which is where we seem to be going. We know he has a huge roster, but he only has so much airtime to get everybody over and to get into angles. So my concern going forward is that we have good matches for every pay-per-view, or we're just going to have pay-per-views for the sake of pay-per-views. And typically what a pay-per-view has been used for before is the blow-off match in a quote-unquote program, and that's what we're going to talk about today. What do we predict over the next pay-per-view or two, Full Gear being November 18th? How do we see the current champions play out, and who might or may they not fight in the next two pay-per-views?
So we'll start. I want to hold the AEW World Champion for last, because that's the premier belt. So we'll start kind of at the bottom of our list here with the trios, and the Acclaimed currently holding the trio titles. Obviously, I really like them as that, scissor me, Oracle, even though you won't scissor me. Kevin has refused to scissor me every time I try. So he's obviously not an Acclaimed fan, but don't be an Acclaimed hater. Don't be a daddy ass hater,
I'll scissor you, Morgan.
See, that's what a true friend is all about. That's why we do this podcast, so we can scissor each other.
Damn right.
Wait a minute. No, now I'm definitely getting off topic here. So
you guys clearly aren't going to the right website.
How do we start with this? Well, I mean, where do we think this is going? I mean, they just won this in All Out, did they not?
And that's why I don't think they're going to have a match at Wrestle Dream. They need to let they need to let it marinate. Some of the problem we have right now is believability in other teams. AEW has a ton of tag teams, but most of them are makeshift. Are we going to see the Best Friends fight somebody? Are we going to see Mobile Embassy fight somebody? They're relegated to Ring of Honor unless you Swerve Strickland. I don't see Acclaimed on Wrestle Dream. And I think what you might see is very similar to what we saw with All In and All Out. Half your roster is going to be on one, and then half your roster is going to be on the next. Did we actually see, other than... No, I guess we did see a few more than just the main event appear on both shows, because we saw Kenny, we saw obviously Adam Cole and MJF. But I'm wondering if he can actually do it so that half of the roster is on one pay-per-view and half of the roster is on the next pay-per-view. What I don't think we're going to see is the Acclaim be on both.
So kind of the same matchup is what you're saying, like where they split it up between All In and All Out, kind of the same thing?
I can see that working better than, yes. Who would the Acclaim fight? I don't know. And I'm not really even sure I care at this point unless they build a program. I don't want to see the Acclaim just squash somebody.
CMFTR.
Yeah, let's not speak of.
I thought we already agreed to not bring him back up. You just violated. You WWE simp over here. He's coming over to your league here.
That man is not going to have a job there. Also, side note on that, it's like, I don't even know if I want to mention on the podcast. It's like, thanks to one of my coworkers for ruining CMFTR's name for me forever now.
Do I even want to know? Is it that same website
well, you
I was talking about?
Now. I mean, you can't keep it hidden now. You've already started.
He's like, simply put, a certain person who shall remain nameless for the sake of this. Look at me, it's like CMFTR. It's like, doesn't that stand for cum farter?
Yeah, that's Rob.
That is not Rob.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, obviously, Kevin, to your point, though, when you look at the trios that are out there, I mean, who really could give them a run that would either take the belt? I really don't know of anybody that right now that is just jumping off the page to me as somebody that would take the belt from them. It would just be line them up with one of the trios groups and just let them continue to hold the belt, right? I mean, it seems like there's not much going on with that right now.
So let's talk about it. Best friends. So you can do obviously Trent and Chucky T with Orange Cassidy. You could do Run It Back with the House of Black. You could do a makeshift elite with the Hangman and the Bucks. You could do Penta. You could do Ray Phoenix, and you could slip in your favorite Lucha Libre star from this weekend.
Right.
Again, nobody's really established, and I think that kind of hurts them. But that's okay because they're really just a comedy nostalgia act. They're good, but do they need the belt?
I think you got a point there because when you look at, say, the House of Black, I don't like them because they've already kind of lost the belts to them. I mean, they could come back at it, but to me, I'm not a big House of Black fan myself, so I don't like them. I can see the Ray Phoenix and Penta with another Lucha Libre, like you said. I can see that, but honestly, to me, that I think the most likely thing is the Elite with Hangman.
Is it possible for me to put something out there just for the sake of I really, really, really don't want to see this happen? Which is, I thought to myself, like, well, we did this, we put the trios titles on the Acclaim so that we could give Billy Gunn one last run. It's like, oh, dear God, they wouldn't think about giving it to Darby, Nick Wayne, and Sting, would they?
God.
Put the belts on Sting one last time.
Nah, Darby's on his downswing. He got squashed again Saturday night, so he's lost 2 weeks in a row.
How is he not dead? I watched that match.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you brought up House of Black. I had seen a stat that Malachi has not had a singles match in over a year. I think I'm ready for some singles match with Malachi.
And I didn't mention the fact that I feel like that Orange Cassidy is now on a rocket ship in a single situation because of how popular he is and over he has become with his singles matches.
I'm not sure that's going to continue much longer.
Orange? Really?
You don't think so?
Nope, I don't. I think they're going to put him back a little bit because you can't keep pushing the same guys. We need somebody else to step up. Yeah, we need somebody else to step up. Yeah, exactly. I'm sick of seeing every second or third Dynamite open with Orange Cassidy. You made him. He's a star. He's doing some agenting in the back, putting matches together. Give the guy a bit of a break. I mean, he definitely was a fighting champion, that's for sure. He had 21 defenses before he lost it. So 31, wow. Sorry. 31 defenses. 31. That's impressive. So getting back to the question, I don't see the Acclaimed having a worthy competitor for either pay-per-view.
I'm just shocked right now. You're talking about pull Orange Cassidy from the lineup. I mean, that's shocking to me because
Morgan,
he's been the staple.
Morgan, where do you go with him? Is he going to beat MJF? Is he next in line to fight MJF? Do we believe he could beat MJF?
Well, we know Samoa Joe right now is the next. Are you talking about after Joe?
Well, we don't know that. How do you know that? You talking to Tony Khan on the side?
Well, I'm asking you because you're the Oracle.
And I'm telling you, I don't see Orange Cassidy being pushed through the end of the year. I think he will be a mid-card player, kind of like a Darby Allin going forward.
Huh. Okay. So
you got to cool him off at some point, unless you're going to put the belt on him. There's no reason to continue to push him like he's been pushed, unless you're going to make him your next big star, and I don't think they're going to.
So what's your percentage on the Trios Championship continuing to stay with the Acclaimed by December 31st?
100%.
Drew, what you got?
I can see that because I'm sitting there like, I think they advertise it more as they're like going on tour with the titles and stuff. You know what? You might be right. It's like, I would have said no to like, they're going to keep the titles on them that long until we change the actual design of the championship belts. That you don't pay that kind of money to redesign the titles to just have it gone in like a week or two.
Listen, if I've learned anything, you can get $300 out of. Where do you get your belts from?
I don't know. Places.
Peru or China. You can get anything on a belt for $300, Drew. Come on.
Alibaba.
I'm just all about pissing Drew off tonight.
Roll with it. Let's see where this goes.
Drew's over here like, my belts are authentic. These are authentically from the Philippines.
All right, next.
So the next one up, it kind of is something that Drew already mentioned, this group here, and this is the AEW Tag Team Champions. FTR, obviously huge crowd favorite. So we've got we got 5 belts here now that have crowd favorites on them. We talked about the Acclaimed. Now we're going to FTR and the tag title. Again, as the casual of the group here, it's hard for me to say that there's anybody worthy to take it away from them right now. I mean, I feel like that this is just as likely to keep the belt all the rest of the year as well.
No. It's like when you have two guys who may or may not be disgruntled by the firing of their friend, not to mention one of them is in possibly looking at spending time in court for a while. I think this is probably the most title that's probably going to change the suit, in the least amount of time here. I can see him hot-shotting the belts to somebody because, hey, Cash might be busy for a minute.
I'm going to agree with the simp here. I think that by the end of the year, FTR is going to toss up those belts, and I think that it's either going to be the Bang Bang Club or potentially the Young Bucks again. And I think that we're going to see some type of three-way match between the Young Bucks against FTR versus the Bang Bang Club, and I think that the winners of those will come around and fight whoever's the champ for the Full Gear pay-per-view. So I think that is a case where we're going to see likely 2 of those 3 teams on both pay-per-views.
I swear to God, if the Bucks take the belts off FTR, like the internet will never hear the end of this.
Why? I mean, okay, let's go a little off what we usually cover. Tommy Dreamer booked himself to go over in a loser ends career match this weekend, and the guy is fucking 53 years old. Are we supposed to believe he can carry a belt?
No. But
same thing. So if he books himself to go over, why can't the Young Bucks? And we know the Young Bucks aren't booking.
I'm
they're
sure
EVPs.
I can 100% believe them booking themselves to take that spot. I'm just saying, like, Twitter's going to light them up for doing it.
Yeah, I don't think that they need the belts, as we talk about many times about needing or not needing the belt. I like your idea, Kevin, of the Bullet Club Gold, the Bang Bang Club. Would you say it would be the Gun Brothers, or it would be the Juice and
it's Juice and Jay White. The Gun Brothers aren't ready. Of the 2, Colton is just not coming along as much as his brother Austin is, in my opinion. I don't think that they can carry the belts and be somewhat believable.
Right.
You also have to remember they're going to be a cornerstone of Collision. Daniel Bryan is making his little nest of folks or wrestlers who are going to do Collision on a weekly basis, kind of like what they were doing with CM Punk and his friends. So I think some of that is still in flux, but I don't see those guys leaving Saturday nights. You might occasionally see them on Dynamite, but I think they're going to be a staple of Saturday nights in Collision.
So explain this to me a little bit. They're still kind of keeping it separate between the Wednesday night and Friday. Wednesday night and Friday, and then Saturday is still different management, I guess. Is that how you would say it? Or
I don't know if it's management, but it's almost like SmackDown and Raw. You can have people that go back and forth, but then you have your standard crew that travels with that traveling schedule every week.
Right.
Just think about it. If you're paying guys to be on Wednesday night, Friday night, and Saturday night, they're all getting 3 paydays, whereas one guy just works on Saturday night, he's getting a Saturday night buyout.
Unless you're Mox, apparently, because as soon as CM Punk is gone, Mox is now on every episode of every AEW show.
As long as we don't have a draft, please no, don't go down the road of WWE having a draft. I think it's the dumbest thing. I know a lot of people get off on the draft, and I'm like, I don't like it. I never liked the WWE draft, so I don't want to see an AEW draft.
Yeah, I will second that.
So, I mean, do we feel like that is there anybody else other than Juice Robinson, Jay White that could be a contender other than, I guess you could say the Elite, right? But
I think they're ready. I think they're being set up to run a program at the top level.
So do you think, let's go into the pay-per-view calendar here. Is this a Wrestle Dream change or is this a Full Gear change?
I think you're going to see it on both. I think you're going to see 6-man, sudden death, and then of those two, they'll run it back with whoever won, and the one that whatever combination you want to make it. So I think we're going to see a 6-man tag at Wrestle Dream, and I think you're going to see a final take the belts off FTR at Full Gear.
Who's the partner with FTR?
Somebody needs to write these down so that we can go back and review and see who was accurate and who wasn't accurate. No, I think you're missing the point, Morgan. You're going to have 3 teams of 2. So FTR.
Okay. Gotcha.
The 2 guys being Switchblade and Juice, and then you're going to have the Young Bucks.
So what do you call a 6-man tag? I was thinking 3-on-3. What do you call it? 3-on-3?
My apology. That's a 6-man tag, but you're right. It's a 3-way dance with tag teams.
Didn't we do that already?
Freaking Tony Khan and his massive roster here.
Drew, if you can give me a counterpart, go for
it. No, I'm not. I'm still thinking of the thing. It's like, somebody write this down. It's like, we're literally recording this.
Yeah. Drew wants to go back and listen so it counts as a listener. Got to get those stats up, right?
You got to do what you got to do, man.
All right, so the next one up, we'll go into the women's arena here, looking at the TBS champion. By the way, Jade Cargill back.
Oh yeah, God!
Right.
I know Kevin was loving that. Oh. Although I am loving it. Jade, I'm telling you, I'm loving it. But TBS, it was weird to me because on Twitter it was like, oh, she's back to come for that TBS belt, and I'm like, no, please stop. Please don't run this back again. Please don't have her and Statlander go after it. I mean, I know how you guys feel about Jade, but still, is it really going to be Statlander and Jade Cargill for the rest of the year?
At Full Gear, yes.
No, but yeah, at Full Gear, it's like they want to run the actual match.
Yeah.
The worst way to give Statlander the belt, and now she's back just a few weeks later, when Kevin told me she was never coming back, probably. So now she's back, but yet you rip the belt off of her in the most ridiculous way possible to begin with.
Can we just say that maybe her coming back is just a fever dream and we're all going to wake up from it? The only person I can think of that I could relate Jade Cargill to is Lex Luger in the 90s. They put so much time and effort behind her, and she sucks.
Are we talking like 1991 Lex Luger or 1996 Lex Luger? Or
dude, I think Lex Luger could have a match with her now and look better than she is, and Lex is in a wheelchair.
Because jeez, because I would say
wow, that's pretty bad.
1996 Lex Luger was fine.
Says the simp. Okay, so
Drew, you're gonna have to really explain it to me because as the casual, I don't even know what the Oracle's talking about right now.
Does this man like wrestling from the 90s at all?
Didn't you see him slam Yokozuna in New York City on 4th of July? Come on, the Lex Express. Yeah, the Lex Express.
You guys did,
Jade Cargill has gone on record as recently as this week saying that she wants to parlay into movies. And that she feels as though wrestling is a springboard for that. But she sucks.
No.
I mean, she sucks more.
She's bad.
Anyway,
yeah, she's bad.
Anyways, yeah.
She's bad. Kevin, don't finish that sentence.
Nope.
Nope. We are, this is an explicit podcast, but you can go too far. I mean, really, Actually, I don't think you really can, honestly. But
no, I think that generates hits. Just keep letting Kevin go.
Kevin, go ahead and finish it. I'll just close my ears. So we know Statlander. So we're saying Statlander, it builds up Full Gear, Statlander and Cargill. And I'm assuming
I don't see
keeps it or no, Chris keeps it.
I think so, yes.
Yeah, I would say Statlander's going to keep it. I think. I just think they just want to run it back and give them the actual match. Get back.
But you got to remember that Cargill is like chummy with Tony Khan. And
I know.
Maybe he'll put her on Soraya's belt because nobody really cares if Soraya drops the belt. We all know that was like just an FU to the WWE. Look what we got. Look what we did for her, and now we're going to take it off her. So I could see that happening more so than them taking it off of Chris Statlander.
But they're not hyping it on social media. They're hyping her going after the TBS championship.
Well, yes, that will be what she does first, and then come the new year, she's going to take the belt off Soraya.
She's going to
If
be
I had
two-belt
if I
champ.
had to guess, they need to get her back in there and get some reps under her, put her on TV so she doesn't fucking panic. But wait, they did that for a number of years, and she still panicked. She never had a single good match, in my opinion. She sucks.
It's like, well, I was going to jump in there and say, like, this is as good as any point to transition into that. It's like, when you said Saraya on the AEW Women's Championship, I was like, I'll call you right now on that one. There's no way she keeps the belt till December on Saraya. That's not happening.
I mean, if you let her keep the belt till December, it's basically a non-existent belt.
Yeah. Well, the problem is they're still running this whole outsiders thing, and there's only two of them left, right? It's Saraya and Ruby Soho. So right. I think we need to get that out of our system. And then Saraya's first quote unquote defense, she's going to lose.
Well, don't let her get offended over you saying Saraya. It's Saraya.
Psoriasis, whatever.
All right, Taz.
Hey, quick question on that too.
I digress.
Hey, quick question on that one for Kevin on this one. It's like it just dawned on me when we're talking about like who could take the belt off. It's like, hey, when we started this whole thing with Collision and they had all those people coming into his office and all the random disgruntled. It's like one of those was Thunder Rosa. Yeah. Did Thunder Rosa just like walk into the office and say, hey, you know what? Spanish commentating, I'm good. I'm just going to chill out here for a while.
She's still not cleared. She was supposed to be, but she's not cleared.
Yeah,
she had a match 2 weeks ago. It was a 3-minute match, I think it was. Just a trial kind of thing to see that she can still go. And apparently she's not cleared.
Ooh. Well, see, I thought, we had speculated in the past about her being ready for Wembley, and that obviously didn't come to fruition there. So, she's still on the shelf, as you mentioned. Saraya, I think, how I'd like to see it. I know it's not going to happen. My pick, and I know it's not going to happen. I'd love to see Sky Blue. I mean, she's been putting in the work. I think she's not a bad wrestler. I'd like to see. She's got a good character. I'd like to see, even though she was kind of pro CM Punk, which I didn't really like that, but she's
from Chicago. That's it.
She's a Chicago person. I get it. But I've always been pretty high on Sky Blue. I think she, like I said, she's getting progressively better each week.
But Morgan, what about your little funsicle in Britt Baker?
So Britt Baker, and I we're on a break. As far as me thinking she needs a push. I don't know how I feel about Britt Baker right now. I mean, she's obviously one of the better women that they have, but I don't know.
Apparently, she publicly stated that
those two, like Saraya and Britt Baker, in their program already there.
Why?
I don't know. Ask Tony, but I swear like they had something where like the two of them didn't like each other or get along, and that we've actually ran this match before. I swear.
I know Britt went on record as saying she was pulling back from her dentist career to focus on her wrestling career. This is recently as maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. So I would be surprised if she wasn't going to be put into a program, a long-term program with someone. And who is that someone? And now that it may have also been because they were going to bring back Thunder Rosa and she was going to focus on having her best possible match with Thunder Rosa. So again, not knowing exactly where they're at with that, who knows? But again, she's just another person that was leading that whole female revolution that has just been pushed to the back and relegated to being a second and third person in the tag team.
Yeah, that, and I don't think we're getting Jamie Hayter back anytime soon, are we?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
All
right, who's next?
Well, so, I mean, what do we think for the rest of the year? So we're thinking Full Gear, someone takes the belt off of Saraya, but we didn't really say who.
I think that, yes, by the end of the year, Saraya will no longer hold that belt. And it might be something you would do on TV. It doesn't necessarily need to be to pay-per-view. If you want to pop a rating at Winter is Coming, I think you would mention that. You would do something like that. Battle of the Belts is coming up. They're going to have another Battle of the Belts.
The sad thing is, Drew, Toni Storm has done this distraught actress thing so well. She doesn't need a belt now because her character is so much better without a belt, being all flustered about everything.
Yeah, because of that.
Last promo was gold to me.
Yeah.
It continues to get better.
because of that, I genuinely see them not putting the belt on her right away or anytime in the future. Just let this thing run its course. No, I'll call you on that one. You were asking, it's like, who do you think Saraya could lose the belt to? It's like, I don't put it beyond them putting the title back on Britt because, Tony is convinced she's one of the pillars of this company right now.
Nope, Jade Cargill. By the end of the year, she'll beat Saraya.
All right, cool. We'll record this.
So we think, what's the percentage you think, Oracle, of Jade having 2 belts?
None.
Okay. So
a year ago, Statlander
keeps the TBS.
Very realistic. Now, nah.
But wait a minute. So then Jade has to somehow lose the TBS, a matchup in the TBS title, and then go after.
No, why would she even be put into a program with Statlander?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm seeing on Twitter.
That's exactly what I said like a year ago. I said she's not gonna. Is like I could see Jade Cargill not losing the TBS championship and going all the way to the women's title, having both belts and doing the whole Goldberg thing where she's holding up both titles simultaneously, like Goldberg did, like Ultimate Warrior did. Which I'm already can see Kevin looking at me as like, oh yeah, good shining examples of awesome wrestlers right there, Goldberg and Warrior. But
I'm still stuck on the fact that Morgan is looking on Twitter. Everybody knows everybody's on X now, so maybe that's your problem.
Yeah, update.
Well, I mean, I still call it Twitter.
Update your app, yo.
I mean, it's an X, but I mean, I'm not gonna not call it Twitter. I mean, all these years.
So didn't they position Cargill as saving Statlander on Saturday night?
For a minute.
She come out? Okay. And then she laid her out, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're building something towards that belt. It's going to happen.
But I'm with him.
I don't know.
Statlander's not losing that title to Jade right now. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, you somehow have to take that heat and put it over to Saraya.
Yeah, somehow. Maybe like you said, Kevin, there's something going on with the remaining of the outcasts or whatever. Maybe there's something there that they can interfere or something and cause Jade to move on to.
Let me just say, if we have to watch it, I just hope it doesn't suck.
Oh, she's for sure going to be Botchamania for sure. I mean, that's just the way it's going to be.
Without a doubt.
So next one up is the other namesake of the broadcasting world, the TNT Championship. Luchasaurus right now, depending on who you ask. If you ask Christian Cage, he's the TNT champion. If you ask Luchasaurus, well, he's just going to grunt at you. I know Kevin's already pissed off about that, but whatever. I mean, dinosaurs grunt, Kevin. Get over it. Okay? That's the way they act.
He's talked on TV. Remember? Probably not.
I don't remember. I'm just glad if he can just grunt, that's okay with me. That's all I need.
So let me tell you what's going to happen here. I'm just going to cut you both off. Edge is going to beat Luchasaurus for the belt.
Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? You literally, in a text message 2 weeks ago, told me Edge was not coming to the AEW. Now you're telling me he is.
Don't swerve me, bro.
It's like,
is this another Oracle has spoken moment?
We will see. We're going to look back at this in 2 months and we'll see.
Wow.
Good Are you saying? I'm not saying it wouldn't happen, but it's like same thing. Like right now I see like Christian Cage's money. I don't see him taking the title off of Luchasaurus in the foreseeable future, unless you did something just absolutely nuts like that.
That would work.
I'm fully aware that WWE put Edge back in SmackDown's intro reel as of Friday night, making you think that maybe he is coming back, but no. I think I don't think that was a mistake. I think they did it on purpose to get people like thinking that he wasn't going to AEW. But we all know Tony Khan has an unlimited checkbook, and that would make for one hell of a surprise at one of these 2 pay-per-views. I don't see it happening at Wrestle Dream because you're going to steal that thunder of New Japan and AEW. But I can see Edge showing up in full gear to beat Luchasaurus. We're going to get to the point where Luchasaurus is going to do an open challenge and hit Edge's music.
Oh, an open challenge. Wow. How original. I mean, I feel like AEW has had 15 of these.
Well, what else are you going to do? Hey, next week, Luchasaurus is going to take on Edge.
How
do you get that?
Let's just be blunt.
Which one of the podcast was it that went off on like the fact that his go-to in AEW is tournaments? Like Tony Khan just loves tournaments.
Yeah.
I mean, look, we're in the middle of another one right now.
Open challenge in a tournament.
Yeah, like the man loves his tournaments.
It's so that everybody can get paid, guys. When you have 170 people on the roster, you got to rotate them in.
Yeah, you really do. And that's his only solution. This is going to be a 68-man tournament. It's going to be better than March Madness.
Yeah. So here again, I don't see any other logical situation. And I really think that TNT belt is just a prop for Christian. And I think he's doing some fantastic work. He has your occasional match, but we're not watching him for his matches. We're listening to him for his mouthpiece.
Wait a minute. You now like Christian Cage? Because again, 2 weeks ago, you didn't like Christian Cage and his whole thing. Now you like it?
How's everybody's dad?
I'm telling you, I like Christian Cage. I mentioned it, and you guys were like, "Oh, I don't know."
Isn't that the end game? Isn't that the end game? Like the guy who has to beat Luchasaurus has got to have like a dead dad.
Well,
wait, what about Edge? Does he have a dead dad?
He didn't know who his dad is, I think.
That happens to be, Jungle Boy. He could come back. We don't know if he's fired. I guess you could put him in the program with Luchasaurus because who gives two shits about the FTR belt? And have him go over, but FTW belt. And have him go over Luchasaurus. But isn't that kind of played out? Do we really want to see that?
No, we're not.
Plus it's bad guy against bad guy. So I can't see any possible if Luchasaurus is to appear at either of these pay-per-views, I don't see anybody that could be anything intriguing other than it being Edge. And I think they should save this until they absolutely know they can't get Edge and then figure it out going forward. Because quite frankly, how often are we seeing him? Go ahead, what?
Can he go by Edge?
No.
I think he'd be Adam.
Oh, Adam. Okay.
Yeah. Or he could be Sexton Hardcastle.
Yeah. That is
Morgan's
right.
looking at us like, what? Who?
Who is that? Where did he use that?
That's who he was before he came to the WWE. He was Sexton Hardcastle, which is, I think, one of the best names ever.
With what promotion?
Canada. He was up in Canada. I forget exactly what promotion he was.
You don't think that kind of to me, that kind of blends in with Dalton Castle a little too much, don't you think?
Yeah, but I mean, historically, his name was Sexton. Yeah, he could come back as like the rated R superstar, but I think they owe that name too. If he just comes back as Adam, I think everybody's gonna freaking know who he is.
Well, Christian Cage is it goes by that. It's like, what if he went by Adam Cage, and we're just like, yeah, they're brothers, whatever.
Adam Cage.
It's too late to write that history. That again, don't insult me. Okay, just don't insult me.
Do they need to be brothers?
No, they haven't been brothers for 20 years. Why would they be brothers now? Don't apply logic to an illogical sport.
Yeah, I don't think they need to be brothers.
Listen, can we all just get a little more CJ Perry?
Oh yeah, wow. Yeah, thank you for putting that in there. Which, by the way, that's number 2 for you. So
it's called the tie back. I want to get her as a sponsor. I'm just putting it out there. We should have her on as a guest.
Ooh, wow.
Does Miro still have a dad?
I don't think I can trust you guys with her as a guest. I don't think I can trust myself.
I'm sorry, Simp, were you saying something?
I'm saying, does Miro still have a dad?
I'm sure he's over there in Bulgaria somewhere. Moving on. What do we got next?
The next one is a guy I don't like. International.
Okay, that's half the roster.
No, that's not true.
Mox?
The AEW International belt. Yeah, I don't like Mr. Bleeds a lot.
He's a hemophiliac.
I don't like Mr. Bleeds a lot. So
that went right over probably most of the people that listen to the show and both of your heads. I called him a hemophiliac. That's somebody who bleeds a lot.
Well, he could also be anemic.
Anemic means you don't. Well, now you stumped me. I'm not exactly sure what anemic is. Doesn't that mean you don't? You don't have enough blood. You don't have enough blood.
So he just bleeds.
Okay. All right. There you go.
So, I like John Moxley as a leader in the clubhouse. I really do. I think he does all the things right. I just think his matches are always blood and they're always the same thing, and they just kind of get old to me. Now, seeing him with a bunch of skewers stuck in his head like a turkey was extremely fun. So the all out match I loved, but I don't know. I just I'm not a biggest fan of his matches, but the guy as a wrestler, as a person, I think he's exactly what AEW needs, and he's a great leader in the clubhouse, as I mentioned. But he is the international champion because he took it off of Orange Cassidy, and also a great match. So I don't think he doesn't have good matches. I just not don't prefer his matches personally. But either way, that's who we got up next. I mean, John Moxley is one of those guys that, again, he's the leader. So is there anybody that comes up and challenges him in the Full Gear? Or we do let me guess, another open challenge.
So what I just heard Morgan say was he doesn't want to see Moxley bang his head against the ring post and bleed, but he'll probably watch him take a weed whacker to the back.
Yeah. If it's really extreme, I'll see it and I'll applaud.
That would be CZW.
Quick question. Is Moxley beating up people or defending the title in alphabetical order? Because I swear I saw this where like he's fighting Action Andretti, and then after that he's fighting Big Bill. I'm like, I was like, that's A, and then B. It's like, ooh. Yeah, it's like A, and then BB. Ooh, let next one be Colt Cabana. It's like,
boom, boom, boom. I think that having that belt on Moxley is a good move because I think he's going to go to indies and other federations when they have reciprocating rights. And I think he's going to take that belt with him, which will get them exposure. I think having him as that champ is a good thing. I was of the school of thought he didn't need a belt, but this international championship, he can go over to Europe, he can go over to Japan, and he can defend this belt. I think it's a good thing. I don't see him losing it to anyone anytime soon. And when he does, it's going to have to be a long, drawn-out program. I think I'd ultimately like to see them break up the BBC and the Blackpool, BCC, Blackpool Combat Club, and have Claudio against Mox for a belt. I think that would be a strong match.
But Claudio has a belt.
Yes, and we're going to talk about that in just a moment.
No, we're not.
Nobody
remembers the Ring of Honor titles.
Oh, you're right. And Eddie Kingston has the strong style. So I will predict that at Wrestle Dream, we're going to see Eddie Kingston versus Claudio belt for belt. But you're right. We're not talking about that.
No. They've already announced that. But who do you take?
Oh, have? I'm going to have to go with Eddie just because everybody loves Eddie. But that's also the reason why you make him lose.
I genuinely thought in my head, like I said, you have a chance to really kind of make Eddie, special here and have him get the win and take the ROH title and stuff. We've seen him lose, and like him losing makes him lovable. I get that, but like seeing him finally get like a huge win like that, I think is you have a special moment there with that.
Yeah, I think that would be a nice little, hey, Eddie, good job. Here's a win over. And, and I'd like to see him shake hands, which is really where all the real heat between these two, although they've obviously buried the hatchet and are having worked matches, they can seem to get along, at least cohabitate. I'd like to see the handshake and them just bury it all together. I think this is the time for them to do that. But I think that will be one hell of a hard-hitting match that won't suck.
Huh. So
that's all you have to say? Huh? So, what the hell kind of host are you? Come on.
And Claudio aren't friends? Like, I didn't know this.
No, there's some legit back heat from when they were in Chikara and then also in Ring of Honor, where there was a scenario where Eddie Claudio said he was out of shape, he was fat, he didn't take it seriously, yada yada yada, and there was a match where Claudio beat Eddie. Eddie put his hand out and Claudio wouldn't shake it, and he's held resentment ever since.
We should just be feeding Morgan like clips from YouTube. It's like at this rate. Like,
I mean,
these two
not
don't
really
like
that I'm
each other.
going to
It's like
care about
one
Ring
to
of
clip,
Honor
yeah.
history anyways, but I mean, I'm not going to get into Ring of Honor, but you guys
Yeah.
can enjoy it all you want.
Well, what
But
if we dumb it down to you in 30 seconds or less?
you're not getting more TV viewers in the regular public from, going back on Ring of Honor history. You guys are loving it though. I mean, you're geeking out about it, but for like regular guys like me that just watch it casually, I'm here for Edge. I'm here for Edge to come back. So
And who's the WWE simp now?
and CJ Perry. Just throw that in there.
And by the way, it's like you're sitting there like, man, you guys are geeking out. It's like, define geeking out. I've watched Kevin sit there like, oh yeah, check out the back history between these guys from Ring of Honor, and then when they do it on AEW, like, oh god, they screwed that up.
Yeah, like I talked about it, Tony doesn't seem to respect the history of Ring of Honor. He likes to, I think he wants to rewrite a lot of that history. But again, I digress. My homage
history.
My homage to Taz. I digress. Yeah,
All
Bag
right.
Jones.
So we saved the best for last, the biggest belt, the AEW World Championship with MJF holding it right now. Where do we think this is going? Do we feel like MJF is going to drop the belt anytime soon? I think it's hard to say for me. I don't see anybody, at least this year, doing it. I feel like, as Kevin has mentioned, it's one of those things that seems more like you'd really need to build up a long, drawn out reason and a story to take it off. But maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think that we're going to run the program of Samoa Joe and MJF, and we're going to see that at Full Gear. Or actually, we could see it at Wrestle Dream, depending on whether the tournament ends before that. I don't think that Roderick Strong is going to make it to the end. I think Samoa Joe is going to be there. And I think what we'll do is, since the whole Better Than You Bebe has paid off so well, we're going to extend that by having Adam Cole wrestle Roderick Strong. And I think that's how we're going to extend this run between the two of them and hold that program off. I don't know if we're actually going to see MJF versus Cole by the end of the year.
Can I fantasy book?
Sure.
What if Adam Cole is like, or what if he's not the guy that takes the belt off MJF? What if, like, Samoa Joe or somebody else is the one that takes the belt off MJF, and then Adam Cole beats that guy? And
certainly possible, but who's that guy?
I don't know. We can insert some random person in there. Let's just say Kenny Omega or Mox.
Yeah,
For the hell of it.
I think anything is possible, but you'd have to have a solid program for that to happen. And it would have to be
booking now, isn't he?
He is.
Yeah, throw the belt.
But is he booking? He's not booking MJF. He also just stated this week that he's done within the year because he told his daughter when she turned 7 that he won't wrestle anymore.
Yeah, wrestlers say a lot of things.
Well, I think he might be one of those guys that keeps his word.
Booker T said he was never going to wrestle past the age of 40, and look how that panned out.
But he didn't promise his kid. So I could see him being an attraction where he is behind the scenes and they bring him out once, twice, maybe 3 times a year. But I don't see him being the guy to carry anything in the future. And remember, we have got to make new stars with the young talent. And we're doing that with Ricky Starks, who we haven't talked about tonight. That man should be on fire and be the first word anybody says when somebody says AEW. They should say, how's Ricky Starks doing? He was galvanized, and I think he is going to get some type of push. I just don't know where it falls into place yet. Did you guys watch Collision Saturday night? And he was on, was he not? Didn't he speak in a segment?
Yeah, he got one of those recorded segments or something, and
Okay.
it was a good hype promo video.
Yeah, I think that he is going to be a future star, similar along the lines of, he's going to get a push. The bottom line is he's going to get a push. And I'm happy to see that because I really enjoy his work. He earned it.
Morgan should have been able to see that. I mean, Clemson was done winning their ugliest game by 50 points by then, weren't you?
Yeah, well, I had softball. That's my thing. I always got softball. I got something going on, being a softball dad right now. But I think that, I don't know, the only person that is worth MJF beating MJF is Kenny Omega to me right now. I don't see Starks doing it. I mean, Starks couldn't even beat the guys that he was put up with already. So I don't know. And then you
But
got
that's what makes a good, believable win is when he struggled and he struggled and he finally gets it. Look at how long Dusty Rhodes chased Ric Flair. Look at how
Ricky
long.
Starks is going to have a lot longer to go. That's my opinion.
No doubt, no doubt.
Right?
So
He's not really had enough frustration yet, in my opinion. I think that you're right though. He is kind of on the uptrend for sure. But you want to sell those as someone who's not on the thing anymore or on the show anymore says you want to sell the action figures, you want to sell the T-shirts. I think Kenny Omega is that guy, and I think this promotion, AEW, was in the best spot possible and had the most viewers when he was the champion and when Don Callis was in his corner. I mean, to me, they were consistently hitting much higher numbers than they are now.
And I'm going to stop you right there. Stop you right there. Until he's done with the program with Don Callis, in which he reverses his luck and starts to win again, Kenny's not going anywhere.
Yeah,
and that's okay. That's okay because they're giving other people time to get over, and that's the point. Plus, Kenny can spend time healing up. The dude is banged up.
I thought he already did that. I thought he already healed up.
Morgan, that man has been dropped on his head twice this year. Whatever healing up he's done, they're trying to reverse it.
Yeah, I could see that. I saw the last thing Takeshita did. It looked pretty bad.
Dude, the only person I know that's more banged up than him is Sasha Grey. Really? Completely nobody got that?
Yeah.
Well, I'm the casual, so I missed that one. I mean,
yeah, sure you did.
I was just really low on that one. Like,
I'm gonna have an energy drink every time we record one of these because it seems to be working.
More CJ Perry.
That were you, boy howdy.
Boy howdy is back. Let's quickly talk about what we all expect for Wrestle Dream. So I'm gonna riff because I know we're gonna wrap up here soon. I think we're gonna see Sammy and Chris Jericho, and I fully expect to see Sammy go over. I think we're gonna see the return of Kazuchika Okada, and I would like to see him against Kenny, but I don't know if we're gonna get that. I think we could possibly see him against Moxley. I don't know if there's anything else big that I can think of that would really. I think we'll continue the Outcast Tony Storm angle. I think we're going to see Hangman. Go ahead.
We got. Remember, did you watch Collision? We got Bryan Danielson against Zack Sabre Jr. That's the one match.
Okay.
Which will be
no,
fun.
I didn't. Okay. I think we're going to see Hangman against Swerve Strickland. They pretty much set that up the other night on Dynamite. I think we're going to get Samoa Joe and MJF. I think that's a given at this point. We're going to see Eddie and Claudio, and I think Eddie will finally go over on Claudio. Something with Ricky Starks, I just don't know what. And I want to see more big men slapping meat. I mean, I really do. That was one of the better matches. I want to chant meat, meat, meat.
Yep.
This is a New Japan show too, right? Sort of.
Yes.
So, like,
combined,
we gotta
yes.
have Will Ospreay out there somehow.
Who would you put him against in New Japan?
I'm not sure.
Sonata?
I was like, New Japan's your territory on this.
Well, Sonata's a possibility, but it's hard to book anybody from New Japan if you're not a New Japan follower, because you look at these guys and there's no backstory on them. Who are they? At least with Kazuchika, we've seen him a couple of times. With Will Ospreay, we know who he is. I don't know of any regular New Japan stars that people are going to recognize. I can't think of anybody that's currently in the upper cards that people will say, "Oh yeah, I know him. He's
Suzuki."
He's too old, man.
I mean, I know.
Although I love Suzuki because he brings it. I don't know who else in New Japan. Let me quickly go look at the New Japan roster while you guys make
Dude,
small talk.
Suzuki,
Yeah, you're good.
he'll
Go
be
look
on
it
the
up because
card.
I have no help.
He'll be on this card. I'm pretty sure of that. But like, I
Yeah,
just
right.
don't. It's like he'll just be one of those like, throw him in there with whoever. It's like we'll get a
Right.
good match out of it.
You know, one thing that I saw on social media the last time that we had, I think it was Forbidden Door, is there were a lot of people complaining about the fact that it seemed like not only, as Kevin mentioned, there's not a lot of backstory with the New Japan people or wrestlers, but then they also seem to win everything. And I don't know if that's just, Tony Khan, like basically helping out them and making them look good because they're joining him and they're doing a partnership here. But it does seem to get a lot of people on social media kind of frustrated because it's like, why are you letting the New Japan people win everything?
So that you can let your guys go over at Wrestle Dream. It's give and take. It's give and take.
I'm sitting there thinking, it's like, wait, I'm pretty sure I saw Okada take an L in the main event at Forbidden Door.
Yep, he lost to Daniels.
Mm-hmm.
So we have Sonata, who's the heavyweight champ.
This time around, according to Kevin.
We have Sonata as heavyweight champ. Nobody knows who Sonata is. We have Will Ospreay as the United States, now the European champion. Everybody knows who Will is, but I'm not sure he's on this card. We got Hiromu Takahashi, who is the junior heavyweight. Takahashi has a bit of a name. People may know him. Never openweight is David Finlay. No interest there. Eddie Kingston is the strong openweight champion. He's already on the card. Tai Chi, he's the KOPW King of Pro Wrestling 2023 champion. He comes out lip syncing to a song. Again, nobody's really going to know him. And you got Zack Sabre Jr., who we just mentioned has a match with Daniel Bryan. So unless you get into some of the tag teams and what have you, there just isn't a lot of names. The never openweight 6-man tag, Kazuchika Okada, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Tomohiro Ishii. Ishii was here last year. He had some really good matches. He's the Stone Cold Pitbull, the little guy that looks like a friggin' fire hydrant. And man, for a man that's in his late 40s, early 50s, he freaking hits hard and he doesn't suck. So those are some names that could potentially make it over here. But, it's a crapshoot at this point. We got 2 weeks to build to it.
Kevin, do you think we fetch
2 weeks? Wow, that's a lot of time. For Tony Khan, that's that freaking whole year.
Yeah. That's 100% more time than he had last time for All Out.
I was asking Kevin, it's like, Kevin, do we get Maki Ito for this?
No, she's too busy with the pizza cutter in GCW, man. She's having some great matches. She's having some great matches. So, who we haven't mentioned is Monet. And I think that she's still not cleared. I know you guys probably saw the same thing. She's still walking in a boot. She's got a walking cast on. That's why they showed her sitting down. So I think that could potentially throw a monkey wrench into some of our prior discussion for Full Gear, but I'm not even sure she's going to make it back in time for that.
The simplest way to know she's not cleared is the fact that you had her there in Wembley Stadium and she did absolutely nothing but sit there. It's like, if she was available to do something, she would have done something. She's not cleared.
Nope. Yeah, and again, I saw photos of her sitting. There was people in that row, and they took a photo, and she had a walking boot on, so she's not ready.
Yeah, you're right. They didn't show her below the waist. Good point.
Nope. So that's my thought, gentlemen. What do you guys think?
It's like you said, I'm still sticking with your thing where it's like, they got 2 weeks to build this pay-per-view. It's like, but, they built a pay-per-view in a couple days, so and that turned out reasonable. So, why not?
I mean, Tony Khan is, if anything, he's, like I said, we mentioned this many times, he's known for putting together a card that ends up being a pretty decent one. Maybe it's some random matches. Maybe it doesn't have a ton of backstory, but it will be entertaining. I mean, there'll be a couple of dead ones, some duds, but there'll be a couple of ones that are probably like, wow, that was a really good match.
That's the difference between WWE doing this and AEW doing this. WWE has a nasty habit of just slapping matches together. But, I feel like there's a thing with AEW where it's like, we can slap these matches together, but we'll put it with people who, we know for sure are actually going to give us a decent match.
Wait, one more thing before we go, fellas. Better Than You, baby, Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship. Anything going on there between the end of the year? I'd be curious to see what you guys think about this with Better Than You, Baby. Do they keep it? They hang on to it to the end of the year?
Oh, no, there's no way they hold those for the rest of the year.
I disagree. I think you're going to see it on TV programs, and that's the only reason why they're going to continue to hold them.
All right.
They can hold it. I mean, there's really no need, because now you've moved on the rivalry to Samoa Joe. So it's not stressing. It's no longer stressing out the heavyweight championship and messing up with the main event. Now they can be their own thing separate.
When they do drop those belts, it's going to be the beginning of the program between those two.
I also was going to add in there too. It's like I will believe that they are legitimately going to do something with Samoa Joe in the main event thing the second they have him drop the Ring of Honor television title. But as long as he's holding that, it's like I don't see him getting anywhere near AEW's main event, or at least going over for that matter.
Well, fellas, I love the takes. I think it was a great roundtable, really the Champions show. And we did a lot of fantasy booking, and it's always fun to get your opinion and see what you think AEW, or where you think AEW will go for the rest of the year. Hey, let us know what you think. Do you think that we made some good picks and had some good assessment of the future, and we forecasted what might happen, what maybe not happen? If not, put it in the comments. Let us know what you think and where we were right, where we were wrong. I look forward to the rest of the year and the 2 big pay-per-views that are coming up. And as always, thank you so much for listening in to And Still, a Wrestling Podcast.
Sasha Grey on CJ Perry.
Mm.